said, don't stop until you see blood. You see blood yet?
I see no blood.
Oh, well, we got to keep running up. So, we don't even keep score. We just run it up and leave.
Pick a side. Will you live? Will you die? Will you quit? Will you try? Sweating eyes. Who am I?
And Mahomes running to his right. Look out. They run. Mahomes running. They'll throw the end down. Battle intercepted. Picked off in the end zone. Bucs are going to beat the Chiefs. We're the champions of the world.
Man,
It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing, Bucs. You are still in history. You want to know why? You're the only team that kicked Mahomes' ass in the Super Bowl thoroughly. A good beating. We already know the running joke in Tampa. The only thing that they had a touchdown on is landing in Tampa. So pat yourself on the back, Bucs fans. We made that happen, and so did the Bucs. And again, welcome to Bucs Report Aftermath Monday.
Aftermath.
Yes,
We're breaking it down. We're talking a little bit about the Super Bowl, and we're going to reminisce a little bit about our Super Bowl. Of course,
right.
we should, and then maybe have a little look towards the future because, well, the future is now because this season's done. It's over. It's in the books.
It's in the books.
There's no more Tom Brady. There's no more of anything really for us to start working what the Buccaneers are going to do.
That's right.
You watched the game last night?
I did. Because I wanted to get a thorough analysis. It's just so many things that I told Eagles fans, especially about the defense. I know you guys think you're the Bucs in 2020 defense when that roar we went on, but you're not. And they proved everything that I said that they would do. I tweeted right before the game. I said, "Hey, the keys to the Chiefs winning is do methodical drives, run
the ball.
You run the ball and make Hurts beat you with his arm," which he didn't. Now, let's just get this out the way. Hurts played a hell of a game. That is not to take away from him, but he kept using his legs more instead of his arm. And I told people that eventually is going to be his downfall.
It's kind of go into like,
yeah.
Once you have success with it, you keep going to it, and it's usually how these dual threat quarterbacks end up on an operating table.
Exactly. And it's usually how they leave their wide receivers hanging, because there were plenty of plays I told people to go back to. Had he had looked up, they would have been open. But again, he was utilizing his legs. And Mahomes I won't say he dominated. Mahomes played a very smart game. I knew, but the methodical thing, I called that right on the head. People were like, damn, you don't think he can score fast? Said no, that they don't have that type of offense anymore. Tyreek Hill is gone.
And not only that, this was a good defensive front they were up against, and a good set of defensive backfield. So you got to give credit where credit's due. They did enough. And the one thing I will always say, if the Kansas City Chiefs wanted to right their wrongs of 2020, the one thing they could have done to beat us, which they didn't do, was max protect and run the ball. And they didn't do either of those things. Their running back stats of the day were from a efficiency point of view, yards per a game, were actually really good, because we're in a too high shell most of the time. We were in a too high shell 90% of the time.
That's right.
So you can check down to a running play. I mean, I'm not saying that they would have won the game, but they definitely would have scored. I'd imagine they would have scored eventually, but they didn't. They were stubborn and stuck to what they thought they could do, and said, we're just going to pass the ball and be pass happy, because everyone thought, well, this defensive secondary was suspect, which is a lot of people said. And that they had, I think they watched the problem with the Kansas City Chiefs is they watched the first half of that game they played against us in the regular season and didn't bother watching the second half.
Right. I agree. I think their arrogance was their downfall. I think Andy Reid and Bieniemy, they did a hell of game calls and game planning. I think you're right. I honestly do think that they took this Super Bowl a lot more serious than they did with Tampa. They thought they were just going to go in and just and dominate, but Bowles brilliantly just had a scheme where it was like, no, we're just going to do simple cover 2. And it helps that the Bucs had the pass rush to do it. You know, another reason why I do think that they avoided running the ball, I think, let's be real, Shaq Barrett and JPP are great at the run as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they didn't.
It's just a little bit harder when you're in a too high shell. Whole goal of you see a team in a too high shell, you want to run them out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, a good run defense can still survive in it. But that, I mean, you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of 2002. They were in a too high shell 90% of the time too, and they were still able to get it done. Yep. All I'm saying is, when you see that too high shell, you should be looking to try and run them out of it first before you start going to the passing game. You want to keep it even because you want to be able to go, okay, we're a passing team first, but let's mix in this run a bit more because they don't have that extra defender in the box. Of course, they can activate a good reading defense. Knows how to read it. So if they read it well enough, those safeties that are 8 and 10 yards off, or 10 to 12 yards off, depending on what the makeup is, will come down and activate on the run straight away.
I agree. I think also they had a better running backs this game. The guy, I forgot his name, Picha, number 10. He's explosive. It's a good thing that they didn't have Claire in because he's not as explosive. That guy was getting it done. I give it to Mahomes for dissecting. He actually played a quarterback. He was being a quarterback. He had no choice. He was methodical, and when he took off with necessary. Like at the end when he ran deep for like 20 yards, I said that's game. People were like, what do you mean? No, I said no, that's game, because now the Eagles defense is in a frenzy. They don't know what to do, and they don't want to get beat deep. And they played smart. They played smart. When the running back slid and sacrificed the touchdown, I was like, that is good damn football. They outthought them, because now the Eagles were pissed. But what pissed me off, if I was the Eagles defense, there is no way in hell you should have let him do that without at least trying to go for a strip. I saw when they pulled up, I said, oh, that's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. You at least try to make that man, if anything, pressure him and try to strip him or make him want to run out of bounds so he doesn't get stripped. But the simple fact that they pulled up, he just slid with ease, and that was it. That was it. But yeah,
it was very smart football, to be fair, and you can tell that was obviously communicated pre-snap. We're going to give you the ball. If you get the fucking ball, take a fucking knee. Don't worry about getting any extra yards. Just fucking go down. Don't fight for yards. We'll get what we get, because that clock is against them. It's not against us. We're in front.
I agree. And they did what they did it right. I want to go again, Slick. Let's talk about this defense, though. Another thing that they did, the Eagles were not ready, because early, why the hell are you leaving Kelsey open? I saw no doubles, at least the Bucs. But people sleep on that Bucs defense. The Eagles linebackers are not Levante David. They're not Devin White. They're not Shaq Barrett. Levante was shutting down Kelsey. He was doing that on plays by himself. That's why I tell people, go back and watch that Bucs defense. Brady will tell you they were the true MVPs. Of course, Brady did his thing in the first half, but the entire game, the pass rush abused Mahomes, because one, he also didn't have, and remember, this is the same offense just 2 years ago everybody thought was going to be one of the best offenses to play the game, and Mahomes will find a way, even though I kept explaining to people, when you have a right tackle and a left tackle out and backups against JPP and Shaq Barrett, and you got Peter Pan in the middle, that's not going to happen. You need a team. You need your line for your quarterback. But I digress, Slick. People thought I was crazy. I said, all right. Again, the Eagles defense was very good. I'm not taking anything away from them, but they made mistakes. Kelsey should have been doubled immediately. He was getting open way too often.
Do you know what my little adjustment would have been?
What's up?
I'd put a lineman on him to slow him down.
Amen.
Not just to get a piece of him on the line, just to delay him for a split second, because it's going to be quick stuff. You just chip and go for your progressions, because they weren't getting to the quarterback on a regular basis. So once you got to that halftime marker, when you're in front, you go, right, our sack ratio is X, Y, and Z. In fact, I'll have a little snootful and see what we got here for the whole sacks.
Yep.
They recorded 0 sacks.
Damn.
They record it, but that people slept on the KC line, because that KC offensive line is actually quite good now. They were really smart in free agency in the draft. I mean, their center's really good. They got a very good left and right tackle. Yeah. Their guards are decent. And average to above average. So they got they got a Pro Bowl center, and I think a Pro Bowl tackle. They've got good guys in that
they
position.
had a solid
Thinking
line.
they were going to feast on it. The only thing I think you would say that the defensive line of Philly was better. Yeah, I would say that, but it comes to execution at the end of the day, and one team just executed more. But what I'm looking at is, if I'm not getting to the quarterback, why don't I do something why don't I stop something that they're good at? And that's go into their safety valve or their fully dependent target of Travis Kelce. So what do you do to Kelce? Oh, the problem with Kelce is you can't put a lineman on him because he's so detached. He's so detached from the line. He's not actually a fucking tight end. So you couldn't put an O lineman on him because he'd be way too far out, which means the run's going to be there because you've just pulled your O lineman away. So it makes it very, very difficult in how you're going to. I'm not sure if O lineman could line up there. But then, if anything, then you put a linebacker on him to press the shit out of him, and then the safety picks him up over the bracket.
Yep, that's exactly what you gonna say. What I said, Slick. I would have put a strong ass linebacker on him to chip him, because once you take Kelce off his route, there's no one else to really get separation. Juju wasn't getting that much separation.
It was only towards the end. No one really shone in that game except for Kelce and Mahomes and the running back.
Exactly. And that's why they didn't take advantage. But that's why I kept trying to tell people to hold their roll, slow their roll on this. This Eagles defense is just on paper. You are right, Slick. On paper, it looked like that they were going to overmatch them. But I tell people all the time.
How many times do we see teams that shouldn't win games that beat a big team? It happens all the time. So when you have two teams that are there's a marginal difference. Yep. That ain't really a difference.
That's not really a difference. Again, yes, the season that Philly had was great. We know this. We're not taking that away from them. But for everybody who knows the game of football, if you watch that Bucs team, they just had, even Shannon Sharp told Skip, I remember, this is the only time I can give Shannon real props on this. He said, yes, Mahomes, Kelce, and Tyreek are the stars. He said, but when it comes to overall talent across the board, he said the Bucs got them. He said, yes, outside of Kelce, Tyreek, and Mahomes, he said the Bucs have, he said Evans, Godwin. He was like, great. He said, then on the defensive back end, you got, he named all the players. So the Bucs defense was just overwhelming at that time, and they could do whatever. They had their way. And they had the players. Again, Eagles did a good job, but guys, this is why me and Slick always try to tell you, on paper, it doesn't mean shit. It's if you can turn up, if you can actually make use of being what your stats say. Stats can be very inflated, guys, or can be very misperceptive. It's misperception.
It is a measurement of greatness, but don't use it as a measurement for expectation.
Right.
Don't use it as an expectation. You should be using it as a measurement of what you've done and what you're capable of achieving. So it's a potential thing. You're using it as a measurement of your potential. So you're looking at first 4 games, you've got 4 sacks. Okay, this guy is averaging about a sack a game. That doesn't mean every game's going to have a sack. There's going to be games where he's going to go quiet and he doesn't get any sacks. There's going to be games where he'll get 2 or 3. That's the measurement. And then you look at what type of offensive tackle did he go up against? Was it left side, right side? Did you rotate him around? Was it a backup in there? Was it a high end guy? And sometimes you see a average ass lineman being able to beat somebody, not beat, but like have their day against somebody like a Shaq Barrett or somebody like that. And then the next game they're going up against David Bakhtiari and they're dominating. It's just some human players are like human beings. They're not fucking carbon copy robots that we take from Madden and we play these fucking games with. Sometimes your 99 player plays as an 82, and sometimes he plays at a 99. And sometimes your guy whose average on Madden is 72, sometimes he plays at a 99. It's just happens. It's football.
And it's football, and that's the thing. It's a thinking game too, because like you said, sometimes that 99 might underestimate that 80 overall player, and he doesn't really know much about him. Because here's the thing: when you are taking on the best player of that position, you typically are studying them more, so it almost evens out.
For sure.
When you're playing a guy lower, you're not always necessarily anticipating what he is good at. And then, like you said, that damn, it's like now I got a game. This is
also imagine people rising their level. So when you there's always a phrase when people play against the current Super Bowl champion. So that'll be the Kansas City Chiefs next year. Everyone wants to slit that throat. Everybody wants to stick that knife in because then they can take a claim. When the Philadelphia Eagles won it that year and then they played like shit the following year,
yes, they did.
Everyone was boasting how they kicked the shit out of they beat the Super Bowl they beat the then Super Bowl champions because you end up with a target on your back. We had it. Everyone wanted to get a bite of us.
Hell yeah, especially the Rams. The Rams, and that's why I made that rivalry so deep because the Rams were they had their mindset. We should be in there because we're overall better. You're right. The Chiefs, congratulations to them, but I again, we've had these conversations where people are telling them to go. So like you made a perfect example. Give us 10 years because after this season, it's going to be telling. Kelsey's going to get older. They don't have as much talent. Their salary cap issue, they're going to have salary cap issues as well. They can't keep everybody either. The AFC is going to get stronger. Again, I'm going to tell you this right now. It would not surprise me if next season the Chiefs get a first round exit in the playoffs, even if they get there. I tell people, you don't know what's going to happen. Like you always say, they are the Super Bowl champs. People are going to do everything to give it to stick it to them.
And give the kitchen sink's going to come out, and once you see the kitchen sink, someone's going to throw a fucking bath at the motherfucker after that.
Yes, and that's what's going to happen. I think that's again. You think guys like Burrow and Herbert and Lamar, if he stays in the AFC,
it's a tough conference to get through.
It's a tough conference to get through, and you are right. So I just say, hold your horses. We don't know what Mahomes is going to be like yet. I'm tired of the fact that, oh well, he has a better arm. A lot of people had better arms and better legs than Brady. That doesn't mean that they were overall better. Just because it's at the moment of can he put this whole game together and win it and rise to that level? That's what we're talking about. And again, we were happy that Mahomes did his thing, but he didn't do it by himself. The defense came alive. When Hurts made that mistake and tried to run and they knocked it out of his hand and they scooped it up for a touchdown, that was a big momentum shift. Again, Hurts has got to also let's talk about Hurts. Good game, but you got to be more of a quarterback instead of playing a running back. He played running back 65% of the game. Had he at least been 50-50, they would have won. They would have won because they had him on the ropes in the first half. But again, they the Chiefs got back to their roots. They got methodical. They did max protect. You said they ran the ball. They learned a lot.
How many carries do you think he got?
I think he got 16 carries.
Wow, that's not bad. He got 15.
Yeah. Oh no, I remember because when I saw him getting the rock like that, I said, "Wow, way to commit and way to throw off the Eagles." The Eagles weren't. It wasn't like that they were just knocking them in the backfield. He got a decent amount of yards. That Eagles team they were thrown off the second.
But you were right in the sense it was a good throw off, but the problem was it kept on using it and using it, and as much as success they had out of it, they weren't able to continue to grind that success out in the second half. When you're up 10 in a Super Bowl, and we all know. I even remember watching the Super Bowl when we played against the Chiefs. I kept on saying to my wife, said to me at the halftime, "You might have won a Super Bowl," and I said, "We ain't won shit yet. We ain't won shit yet. We ain't won shit yet." Because you know that guy can turn it when he needs to.
Yes.
There's been too many games where the Buffalo Bills are going to beat them. There's only 30 seconds left on the clock. Dip, 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 dip. Done. Now it's a tied game. We're going to go to overtime. So you know what I mean. You just can't. I don't rule that guy out until the fight. And that's my motto anyway. You ain't won shit until you've done shit, because I've always had that mentality. When I coach, I do the same thing. If we score, turn around and go, guys, don't get fucking complacent now. We ain't done shit yet. When I feel you. When that motherfucker that bell rings and they say that whistle goes.
I know. Once 60 minutes, and you're right. As a player, if I'm the coach on that team, I don't celebrate until it's 0-0-0-0. Now, I'm not gonna lie. The third quarter is when I said, "Oh my God, we're gonna win this shit," because Mahomes couldn't do anything. That's what I realized.
I was confident, but it was just like, I'm not going to say anything yet because I don't want to. It was like, don't jinx it. Don't fucking jinx it. Don't fucking jinx it.
No, I feel you. No, again, yeah, trust me. I understand because at first when people were like, we're gonna win this, I'm like, shh, don't do this shit. Because if we lose, you're gonna catch this. I'm gonna uppercut you with my arm. I ain't gonna hit you with a fist. I'm gonna uppercut you with this. No, the Bucs defense was just the Bucs, and then not only that, we were just complete on offense too. We were marching down the field, and there was no. And then the simple fact that we did it to fucking Honey Badger made me feel even better because he was talking all kinds of shit, and I'm like, Honey Badger, you are really the molasses Badger. You have lost your taste. He was all right, but again, Bucs defense, that is a defense to remember. Not only because look at how much we dominated Mahomes. He was an elite caliber player that season. Tyreek Hill, you know how everybody slurped him off. Kelsey, enough said. The Bucs just did. We had the formula and we executed. As you said, we rose to the occasion. We rose. I didn't see that sense of urgency from the Eagles defense. I saw some of them like getting.
I think they rested on their laurels after halftime.
You think that they got comfortable?
I think they got comfortable.
Yeah,
because they started to raise their game. But the problem is when you raise your game, and I'm not saying a losing effort because they weren't ever really losing. But when you start to raise your game while you're being dominated or you are struggling, it's a lot difficult to get back into that gear when you've been coasting. When you're cruising down, the what you got? You have the highway, we have the motorway. Yeah, you're cruising down the highway, you're going 100 or whatever. Then you get off, and then all of a sudden it's fucking 30. You got to adapt quick because otherwise the policeman's going to have you, and you'll be done for speeding. And I tell you what, when you go you go miles an hour or do you go kph?
Miles per hour.
So you're doing 80, and then you come off and you got to do 30. 30 feels really slow once you've done.
Yes.
And when the roads are dead, you can't help yourself. And I'm saying it's so hard to kind of adjust and get yourself into it. If you've been cruising, you'd be like, yeah, I'm sitting in the car, music's on, oh, sun's beating down, windows are down, music's playing, oh, coming in. Then you come off the motorway, all the shit, fuck, oh my God, I'm on 50.
Yes.
This is a 30 mile an hour. You gotta get because you get caught.
Yes, I think you have a point, and that's what they did. They saw victory before the zeros were on the clock, and that is a dangerous recipe. That's a recipe for disaster because now you're giving the other team a way to fight back because they're still on all cylinders already. It just wasn't clicking yet, and once the Chiefs started clicking, I told you the turning point was when Hurts got fumbled. And they picked it up. I said, "Yep." I'm like, "Well, that's not good for the Eagles because now they don't have the offense to truly like just methodically go down. They want to get quick. If they don't have Hurts using his legs, it's over."
It kind of felt like it was over if it went for that. They did some good things, I think. And when I say that they coasted, what I mean to say is certain members of the team probably coasted, and that comes into it because I'm sure there's plenty of guys on that team that were completely dialed in. The problem is you've got to get everyone dialed in, and there's going to be someone in that fucking locker room who's there going, well, we've won this, and they're thinking about that trophy, they're thinking about that confetti, and then, oh shit, motherfucker, run back.
Oh shit, now we got to get back in the game. But like you said, too late because the other team's like, fuck you, we're not letting you up. We're not letting up. What you gonna do now? And then that can lead to frustration when now all of a sudden it's like, damn it, we're doing this and we're doing that. And now it's a quicksand effect. Now you're in over your head.
They were really smart. The only thing I would say about the Kansas City Chiefs, the only thing I find weird about them is, and I'm really glad they had this broadcasting staff because if they had the one that did their championship game, oh my God, we'd have to hear about how hurt he was, and because Patrick Mahomes was in agony on the sideline, he was running fine when I saw him. I'm sure they shot him up with some shit. I'm sure he wanted to be shot up with shit. Absolutely. But it just feels like sometimes to me, I don't know why, but it just always goes through my head that I think sometimes the Chiefs set themselves up for, hang on, if we keep going on, like, I don't know, they just show off that they're beat up and they seem to think they're underdogs. Like Travis Kelce after the mic was going, everyone doubted us. I'm like, no one doubted that you were going to win this game. Everyone thought it was going to be a competitive game.
Exactly.
But you guys you've been going on about how ill you are. You've been going on about how beat up your receiving core is. You've been going on about Mahomes' fucking ankle. Of course, when you shout loud how beat up and weak you are, people are going to go, well, maybe the Eagles will have them.
Yep. Drama.
But then I certainly didn't see this was going to be a landslide victory. I thought either team could win it.
Me too.
It was a solid game played by two good teams, and the scoreline was 3 points difference. That's all it was.
Yeah, and that was it was a good game. Nobody was getting blown out. I agree. I just think that the reason is everybody knows Kelsey's an asshole. He just wants to be the center of attention so bad. Didn't nobody hate on you? Didn't nobody think y'all doubt you bastards to that point?
Yes, we were both fucking favorites.
Exactly. Get the fuck out of here.
They were divisional favorites in their division. No one was talking about anyone stealing it from them. They said it was going to be more difficult because other teams upgraded and what have you.
Right.
Then, when they got the championship, yes, a lot of people thought because Joe Burrow was playing very well. I think everyone was pretty split on that game as well. Those are games that could have gone either way. But other than that,
I think here's the problem with Kelsey. People don't want you to win. It doesn't mean that they don't expect you to win. They just don't want you to win.
How many people want the Patriots to win when Tom Brady was there? Nobody wanted them to fucking win.
Nobody wanted that shit. You just hope that, but you knew the outcome. And that's the thing about Kelsey. It's like, that's why people don't like the Chiefs anymore, because they turn into drama queens. They've turned into
they try the sympathy card.
Yes, it's like, at least
what did the Patriots do? They embraced being the bullies. They embraced being everyone hates us, but fuck them. That was their attitude.
Right, we'll kick your ass anyway, and then we'll shake your hand afterward and say good game. That's how it was. I remember the Bucs. The Bucs were not drama queens. When we won, a lot of us came back with a hunger, like, hey, we're gonna get this shit done. We're gonna do it right. You didn't hear the fan, but like the media didn't truly turn on the Bucs. Now, of course, media wanted to turn on Brady, but the Bucs were not like the Chiefs. People were not, it's just the Chiefs are just drama queens and sissies. And I'm sick of that shit. But I do want to stick this one more thing to the Eagles fans. The ref made the right call. Bradbury was all over him. I don't give a shit what nobody says.
Even Bradbury said he fucked up.
Yes, Bradbury fucked up because he didn't want to get beat. He was already Juju had him, and he just wanted to try to nudge him. I think people don't realize.
I'm going to add something here, and I know what you want to say, but I'm going to add some here because I got a bit of personal experience with pass interference myself. Yeah. Sometimes that pass interference call is worth it because, this might sound insane because it's happened to me. You get that pass interference call, you stop the touchdown. Yeah, the touchdown's off the board. Now you have an opportunity. Yes, it's hard because you've got to stop 3 downs, but it's stop 3 downs, which is possible, or give up the touchdown. That's what you're gambling on. And I did that once, and I felt so shit afterwards because I hadn't played in a long time. I was actually coaching at the time. We were so low on players that I had to put a helmet on, some pads, and play. So I'm rusty as shit. I get a call straight down the field. I got argued with the referee because it was an uncatchable ball, in my opinion. They said it doesn't matter. You shouldn't have done it. I was like, okay, fair enough. It is what it is. And there's me. Look, they're like, well, don't worry, we got this. Well, I think we're 20 yards out. They had to kick a field goal.
There it is. And again, that's what Bradbury was just trying to save a touchdown, and it was a good call. It was a good call. The Eagles didn't get robbed because I said, well, they called back another play when the dude got blasted. It was the right call. So they weren't against you, Eagles. That was just football. Well, he didn't call it all game. So what? That was a blatant.
But was it because they didn't call it all game? Like I don't have a problem with, or if for me it's a 50-50. Personally, I would like to have them to have let the play stand because of how late it was in the game. It was going to be a big factor in, but it wasn't wrong because it is textbook pass interference. You can't grab hold of somebody's body while they're working downfield. That's just, if anything, you could argue it's you could say it's not pass interference, but it's defensive holding.
Yep.
Which is pass interference anyway, so it's irrelevant. So it was textbook. It was textbook. There's nothing you can do about it. They saw it. Could you argue it could go the other way? Absolutely. But it's irrelevant because it's still the penalty.
Exactly.
I personally would have rather them let it play. Personally. Yeah. But I wouldn't. If I was a Bucs fan and that happened to us, would I be sour? Not really, because it's still an actual penalty. If someone didn't do anything and there's no hands being touched, or he puts the back of his hand on him and the guy thinks he tugged and throw the flag, then yeah, I would be pissed.
Exactly. But no, Bradbury literally ran right into him, because at that point when I looked at it, I said, yeah, Juju had him beat. And you're right. If he wouldn't have let him go and he would have just, if it didn't do that, Juju's going in the end zone. He's catching that end zone touchdown. So Philly fans, shut up. Nobody was going after your asses. You lost. Deal with it. And you actually deserve it. It's just karma. The football guys were displeased of your assholishness against people at home. Good. I'm glad you felt the pain. You guys are 2-2.
Cry, Eagles, cry.
You guys are 1-2 in the Super Bowl. Deal with it. And yeah. So eat a cheesesteak with an L in the middle. Let that shit sizzle in there. Let that shit sizzle in there. Put some L seasoning on that shit.
No seasoning. No salt.
Yes, I don't give a shit. I'm telling you, Slick, over here, everybody on the East Coast is like, how does it feel, Philly? How does it feel? They are so uptight right now. Well, if for everybody whose team was in the Super Bowl, shut up. I'm like, hey, first of all, we were just in the Super Bowl not too long ago, and we kicked your asses last season. Twice. That's why I just go, hey, you act like, because one Eagle guy came to me and said, you're the Bucs fan. I'm like, yeah, the same Bucs fan that embarrassed Hurts last season, and we whooped y'all during the regular season. Yeah, that guy, that Bucs team, sure. Rondé Barber shut down the vet because they booed him when he walked in. I'm like, I don't care. They booed him. I'm like, hey guys, at the end of the day.
Yeah, but he embraced it because he's given him the whole.
Exactly, he did.
Remember this name? That's the name that shut down the vet.
Remember the name. Deal with it. So yes, I was happy for the game. It was a great game. So it was very interesting. The better team won. So Eagles again. I just need the people to stop. I got a lot of barbershop folks that's gonna be like ready to pay up, Slick, because I told them, I said, look. No, man, no, AJ, the Eagles defense is better than y'all's. I'm like, no, it isn't. Name me any of the players that are Levante David caliber at linebacking core. Oh, you can't. That's an arguably Hall of Fame linebacker we have. Mm-hmm. Name someone on your pass rush that's Shaq Barrett good and Jason Pierre-Paul good. Overall, not, they had a better season. No, we're talking about career and as a player.
I mean, they've got good players. Like, here's the thing. When I look at this team and I'm looking at the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, in fairness to him, technically outplayed Mahomes.
Yes.
But the rest of Mahomes' squad was with him. The problem is Jalen had to take it into his own hands to finish off the drives and complete things because he couldn't. And then you look at what Patrick Mahomes does in comparison. I'm just looking what he lost me some bets.
Yeah.
He lost me some bets because I was doing those like over and unders, and I looked up his average playoff stats, and I was like, okay, I went under this, so he'll get over X amount of completion. He'll get over X amount of completions, and his average is this number, yeah. And he did it. It was great. I put down that he would have over 24 completions. He got 21. Do you know what his average is? 25. He played below average. His average yards are 250. He got 181. I bet the over on the on 140 240 yards. I bet the over because it's just obvious.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this, Slick. You know what? And this just makes it even better. Mahomes played like Brady.
He did.
He played like Brady.
And what did he say? He went to the GOAT and said to him, "How do I prepare for this?" And the GOAT said, "This is what you do."
I know. I just love to hear that. I just tell people it's not always. A lot of times, the players that put up the best numbers are not always winning. It's about finishing. And Mahomes scored when it was time to do it. Hurts was so big. Oh, what's that? Rondé's engraved in Philly. Hell yeah, he lives in their minds.
They wake up, Rondé.
Number 20. I bet you they hate the number 20 forever there. Look, if they go, if they're in a building and it's an elevator, there is no 20.
Floors only go to 19.
21. Yes.
And then 21. There's just no other floor.
Exactly. But yeah, overall though, Mahomes played. He played to win, not played to look good. See, Hurts was playing, but he was doing too much where he put himself in harm's way of the ball. I mean, Mahomes didn't. I tell people in the Super Bowl, Brady, his best game statistic wise, he lost against the Eagles when he threw for over 500 yards and all that stuff. He lost. Peyton Manning has had plenty of games where he threw for 300 yards and he lost.
Seahawks game, he was fucking complete. Yeah. This was the best offense in football at the time. People don't realize that the Broncos were the best offense in football. They looked like a pop gun offense. Or they literally did that. The Seahawks defense literally did what the Bucs did.
Yep,
it nullified it completely. It was picks I believe for the Legion of Boom. It was all picks. It was picks everywhere. They made him look really bad from a pick point of view. The Buccaneers were just so methodical. They were more. You're going to have to earn it. We're going to challenge every ball. So they didn't come away with as many picks or what have you, the flashy stuff, but they were just so methodical in what they did. They just didn't allow anything. They forced Mahomes to throw on a bad platform. And what people don't realize is, he was throwing all those balls, but they don't come in as nice. They don't come in as smooth. The trajectory's wrong because he's throwing off kilter. That's why they don't reel those in quite often.
And they sacked him like 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, statistically, when he was running backwards, they say he ran like 500 yards backwards. Just think about this. We historically embarrassed that motherfucker, and I love it. Buck fans, you should feel proud because look, when they look back at it, I think Mahomes really took that ass beating that we gave him in the Super Bowl personally. I think when he got back to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised if he watched the Bucs game and said, look, I don't ever want to feel like that again. I don't ever want to look like that again. I honestly, it's like I think you were onto something. The Chiefs that season, their arrogance.
It's because it was the running back year, wasn't it? It was the whole running back year for them.
Yep,
and I think there was a level of arrogance because they were playing so well.
Yep,
and I think they forgot. Like I said, I honestly, they're not obviously not stupid. They're a well-run organization. I don't care what anyone says. They're a well-run organization. They must have watched the second part of the tape, but it felt like their arrogance only acknowledged the first part.
Yes.
In the first quarter, Tyreek had 200 yards and 2 touchdowns or whatever it was. It was an inflated amount. But then you saw, and that's when I saw the building blocks of what we could do to them. Because I was like, hang on. I remember I was on Rick's show back in the day. I didn't even have a show. I didn't do any of this stuff back then. And I was on Rick's show, and we were talking. Both me and him agreed that if anyone was going to blow anyone out, the Bucs seemed more likely to blow out the Chiefs than the Chiefs were. And everyone was looking at us like, you too real? And I went, look at that second half. That second half is telling. And I've always said when people if you're watching Buccaneer football defense, wasn't so much this year, but it did happen a bit. Todd Bowles likes to feel an opponent out. He likes to figure out what they're doing, and sometimes they give up a touchdown while he's probing. Usually by halftime, he's figured them out and it's stopped. The run defense has always been solid, but usually the rest of the defense clicks after a few drives, and then they start their momentum. Usually around midway through the second quarter, maybe beginning of the second quarter, then they really turn it on. But sometimes early on, they can get beaten quite easily because I think they play almost vanilla to see what they can do, what's being done to them, and then he adapts from there. Didn't see it as much this year, but it did happen on occasion. And I've always noticed that about how Todd Bowles coaches. It's not like he lets a touchdown in. Of course, he doesn't want to let a touchdown in, but it's almost like he's probing more to see what they can do, what they don't like to do, how they're going to do it, and then he's all right. Put stop to that.
Yep. Yeah. He likes to try to play chess on defense. Like, okay, let me see this piece. Let me see what they're going to do here. Sometimes the only issue is it can get to a point where it's too late to try to catch up. And now it's like
momentum. Momentum.
Right. And especially
when Mo is giving up on you and Mo's on the other team's side, or Mo's not with you, no problem.
And he could get away with that the first 2 seasons with Brady because the offense was bailing the defense
dynamic
out.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit happened. Don't worry, guys. It's 7-0. We'll catch it up. Next thing you know, it's 7-7. Now the defense can go, oh, okay, we can get back into it. it just didn't, like you said, it didn't happen like that this year because the offense was just, was
But
nowhere
the defense
near.
was super solid this year, though. I give them that.
Yeah, defense was fine. The defense overall,
I think they probably let a touchdown in, and then it was like
right. The defense overall.
That's why I said to you when we were talking about all these games.
Yeah.
If the Buccaneers let in more than 2 touchdowns before half, the game's probably done.
Yep.
Because they can't continuously be a closeout defense because you know that a team's probably gonna score one more, and I know for a fact that we don't score more than fucking 18 points. So you can't, like, once it gets, if it's an early 2 score, the Buccaneers need to start scoring, because if they don't, it's going to be a long day at the office. Every time I've called that, like, we scored on it right. The Buccaneers don't reply on the second touchdown.
Yep.
I did it with Dallas. I was thinking to myself, I was watching us play against us. That second touchdown went in. I went, right, if the Buccaneers don't score now, and they do, this game is done.
Yeah, I agree. The Bucs were just, again, that's something that we definitely can fix, and I think we will. But just to wrap up the Super Bowl thing, yes, the Bucs defense, they were sensational. Buck fans, you should literally hang your hat on that one, because we did, and it wasn't just that we did that in the Super Bowl. We did that throughout the entire playoffs. We were making everybody uncomfortable. You made Drew Brees' last pass an interception. That makes me look. That was my personal Super Bowl right there. I didn't care if we lost against the Packers, but I'm gonna tell you, after we beat the Saints,
we needed it.
I was super confident. I didn't give a shit about the Packers, but when we beat Drew Brees and them, and look, that was
the only team I was sat there. The whole, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't perceive the future, but I remember going through each game. The team that made me shit myself the most was probably the Saints.
Yes, because the Saints were us. They were us. They were a reflection of us. But at that time, they had a better secondary. And man, but when we look, I ain't gonna slick. I said fuck you so long to Lattimore when Evans caught that touchdown over him. And he fell on top of Lattimore. I was like, yeah, get your bitch ass down. Yeah. It just made it better. It made it sweeter when Evans caught it over Lattimore, because Lattimore was on him and Evans just bodied him. He said, get off me. And then when he fell on him, I love that Evans just kind of stayed on top of him for a second and Lattimore had to push him off. I loved it. That Bucs defense punked everybody.
I'll tell you what, that pick and the fucking stiff arm.
Yes, Kevin White picked him off.
Send him into orbit.
I called it. Somebody said, "How'd you know?" I said, "Because and I knew it was gonna go to fucking yeah." I was like, wait a minute. I said, "Wait," but at that time, you said this before. Drew Brees played like Brady did this season. The arm, like the accuracy wasn't there. The zip wasn't where it is. Because when he threw it to Kamara, it looked lazy. The throw looked lazy. That ain't the Brees that I remember. The Brees I remember from 5 years ago, he would have zipped that shit in there and Devin wouldn't even have a chance to pick it. That was a good one. And then when he threw whoever he threw, that was nice. That was nice.
Yeah, I think he might send some poor defensive back into fucking orbit or some shit.
Yes,
well, let's talk about the future. Because I've got a few comments here that's talking about the future. So let's talk about Bucs School Gang. He's got us car rumors heating up. I don't see us going after Carr because we don't have the money. I don't think he's going to take a reduced salary. I think he's going to take a lot. He's going to want the biggest salary physically can command. And he's probably looking at teams that he could go to that he can make noise with. Buccaneers could be one of those teams. It all depends on what shakes up in free agency. I think if he's smart, and I'm Derek Carr, he's made his decision. He doesn't want to be traded. Fair enough. He's going to make the Raiders pay every single pay of that guaranteed money that they got him. Rightly fucking so. And whatever guaranteed money that's down the line as well, because guaranteed money is guaranteed money and you continue to get paid. Because even Sue, when he was with us, was still receiving money from the Dolphins.
Yep. He's not going. We can't afford him. Guys, Buck fans, we can't afford a big name quarterback. Deal with that shit. Relax.
Not unless you can get him to backload his contract. So you
that's not going to happen.
No. Well, the signing bonus doesn't count against the cap, so you could turn around and say, "We'll give you a 20 million signing bonus, such and such million signing bonus, and you only take a 2 million salary, and then next year you're going to get X amount of." But hey, it's not impossible, but I doubt it.
Right.
I honestly doubt it.
There it is. Slick said it perfect phrase. Not impossible, but doubt it. And that's why I'm looking at it like this. I'm looking at, hey, Baker. I like the more that you were talking about how we should do incentives for veterans, like that are not going to demand a lot. It does make perfect sense because one, it's going to create QB competition, and that's what you want. For all you know, signing Baker Mayfield might be the best thing to happen to Trask. Because what if Baker starts playing like shit and it lights a fire under Trask and goes?
I just don't want Trask to be comfortable in thinking that he's just got a job.
Exactly. What if Trask goes, oh my goodness, I have a chance actually to get my shit together? Because believe it or not, people because we haven't seen enough of Trask, he doesn't have as many options either. So his career is on the line. What if he comes out of nowhere and let's say if Baker's in the game, we're in 5 games in it, we're 2-3, and he is just like, he's mad. And then Trask comes in the game, and next we fuck around and have a 4-1, a 4-1 census return. Now you see promises because, like you said, Trask he wasn't given the job. And I do agree with that because I think there are a lot of Bucs players, if they could start over again, or if the Bucs would have paid more attention. Gerald McCoy was another one. Remember when he was given positions? Sometimes you have to earn your keep, even whatever status you're in. You make people work for it. You want people to go, I got to come in here and play because if I don't, I could be out of a position. I do like that. So Bucs fans, if we do get a free agent quarterback, built incentives to where it doesn't hurt the cap, but also it lights a fire. You want all your Bucs players this season to come back and go, we got to play for something, guys. Without the GOAT being here, first of all, you don't even have to worry about pressure anymore because the media is not going to give a shit about the Bucs anymore. They're going to go back. Now it's just going to be about other teams, and that's a good thing. We don't need that anymore. We want to build. You want to give the media a reason to pay attention to us. So that's my take on it. I want the Bucs to, if you're going to ride with Trask, like Dick Vermeil did with Kurt Warner, we will rally behind him, and we're going to stick with Trask, or you get somebody else.
Yeah, and I would assume that they saw something in him to go with him. You don't just go with him and go, we're just gonna have a lot of people saying, why don't we just let's just ride with Trask and see what we get. And I'm like, yeah, but if you have a bad season with him, you're all going to be calling for Coach Bowles' head. It's a fact. Like, if he's shit, you're going to call for Bowles' head. So Bowles knows that he needs to do something. So if Bowles generally believes that he's either deluded or he's seen something.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But I still think you bring in at least one veteran to 2 veterans. I like my idea of saturated contracts in the sense of
yes.
I want those incentives because the Buccaneers are known for paying up on their incentives. They've got a reputation for it now. And that's a good thing because it doesn't count against the cap. And there's so much you can do because you want it to look almost like this is achievable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can make those you can turn them into stepping stones. 5 touchdowns nets you 500K. 10 touchdowns nets you another 500K because none of it counts against the cap. It's technically invisible money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's invisible money in the sense of it's like Monopoly fucking money. It doesn't really matter in the cap scheme. So you can have those attributes there ready for them, and you sit there and they're going, okay, they're not front loading my contract. They're not doing this with me. Okay. Because there's not a lot you can do with a 1-year contract. You can't front load it or whatever it. The best thing they can do realistically is the signing bonus is massive in comparison to the actual salary. And that's the only thing you can do. But then you get screwed if they're shit and you decide to cut them because you've just paid them a shit ton of money to get here. So you've just burnt money. You haven't burnt cap, but you've burnt a lot of money to get them in your building to find out that they're shit. So I would say you could easily offer someone $3 million. $2 million of that is a signing bonus, and then you have all these incentives. 25 above 25 touchdowns nets you $1 million. Below 1 turnover per game ratio, that nets you $1 million. Winning more than 10 games, nets you 10 million. Starting more than 10 games nets you a million. Sorry. And you add that you want people like Baker Mayfield going, that I can do that. I can do that with this team. I can do that. So, okay, they may not be paying me this money, but I'm going to knuckle those fucking attributes on the head right now. Now, the difference is what is his value on the open market? Because I'm sure if someone turns around to him and said, I'll give you 6 million right now,
he's gone.
He might take that.
I think so too. Now somebody's talking about Jimmy G. With Jimmy G, I don't know what
I think it'd hurt Mike Evans' game.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want him in there because he's not the type of quarterback. He was perfect in San Fran because the type of offensive scheme that they ran and the players it fits. I don't want Jimmy G at all. I would rather have Baker. It's not happening. We can't afford him.
I don't know. Can you sign someone while you're still in limbo? In limbo, in limbo with the cap? I have no idea. I generally don't know.
Well, he said a goodbye to Vegas, so it's almost like he broke up with them, but it's still like he just broke up with them, but we haven't seen him fully released yet. So yeah, he broke up with them, but damn it, there's still a title. Why can't I send? Oh, hold on. Let's see. Let's see. No, you're good. Yeah, Bucs Talk, the car rumors until he is officially gone from the Raiders. And again, a Carr would have to take so much less money with us right now. I just don't see it. Carr, as you said, Slick, he's earned the right to demand a decent amount of money. Now, I would love if Carr wanted to come here and say, "Hey guys, I believe in this team. I'm pissed off for what the Raiders did to me and what the media is portraying me. You guys got you guys got a solid defense. You have weapons on offense. I can be that guy to make us competitive again." Hey. No problem.
Bear with me a moment, man. I'll just
No problem.
I'll catch you in a minute.
No problem, buddy. So yes, Carr would have to be that kind of guy. If Carr were to come to the Bucs, Carr would need to be a Super Bowl mindset guy. That is what the Buccaneers need. If you're going to get that kind of a caliber of a quarterback in here, then that's Super Bowl talk. Like if Lamar Jackson, and I know that is not going to happen. If Lamar would be able to like take a major pay cut and he would have come to Tampa, I would want him to be like, we can win a Super Bowl. But that's
the little man wants to say a word.
What's up?
What do you want to say?
Go Bucs.
That's right.
Raised well.
Raised well and raised right.
Damn straight. I'm going to just send him to bed. I'll be back in a minute, mate.
No problem. No problem. For the Bucs fans out there, and I know this is a long shot, and people have said this, but he's on his rookie contract, and thanks to Rick Hughes and his buddy Todd, because they lit a fire. So Rick, if you see this, Rick, your buddy, he lit a fire. Justin Fields would be good with this Bucs team. The reason why I say that, he would be like almost like what Hurts was to Philadelphia. That's and with a guy like Evans, he would be able to get the ball downfield, and because we need a quarterback that can improvise and keep the play extend plays, and throw a deep pass to Mike Evans. So a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I don't care. Mike Evans should be the focus next year on offense, because if he is the focus and he starts to shine, that means Godwin is going to eat too, because we have two legit number one receivers. And if Godwin shines and then they have to worry about Godwin, now you have to worry about Russell Gage. Now you have to worry about Scotty Miller. Now you have to worry about an up-and-coming talent in Cade Otton, who they should use more often. It's going to be a lot of things that can happen if they focus on getting their best receiver the ball. What's up? Chris Cole, which you say people are saying if Trask isn't the guy, then that's on light. I didn't agree with the person because built the championship roster. You do have a point, Chris. I think there is something there with Trask. I don't know what it is. I just sense it. but that's all it is. It's just a sense because we haven't seen enough of him. But I do agree. I would hope that they just didn't waste a pick because, Trask was solid, and he was solid in Florida. But you're right. I hope they didn't. I just want it, but I want to see something because we don't need another Steve Young incident where the talent was there, and I'm sorry, I can't take anything Leftwich serious if he was evaluating talent because I just don't. And Bowles, I like Bowles, but Bowles is not an offensive minded guy. Let's see. Okay, all right, Bucs Skull Gang. Put it in the chat. Who they interviewed. Let's see what else. A lot of people are probably frustrated or impatient with this process. I'd rather the Bucs get an OC and get it right, and it keeps us good for years to come, than just sign someone automatic. We don't need to do that. Sometimes it's best to take your time. You don't want to. This is a process that Bowles knows he has to get right. Bowles cannot afford to pick the wrong OC. Otherwise, it's his job on the line. Because if his defense doesn't finish in the top 10, in my opinion, then he is no use. They don't want Mike Evans and Godwin and Otten and all those offensive weapons to go to waste. We have a up and coming running back in Rashad White, just in case if we let Fournette go due to cap space. We need to take advantage because we also need to get that running game better. The running game was ranked 32nd, dead last. We need to at least get to 20. I was talking to them earlier, and I know a lot of people might disagree, but for this quarterback, if Justin Fields could get on this team, Justin Fields could be a problem with this offense.
I mean, yeah, I think the only problem you got with Justin Fields is I'd be worried about him getting injured.
I think with the right
He's got
OC,
left leg.
With the right OC, he won't. That won't be a problem. And with Evans and Godwin and the rest of the weapons, Justin Fields, the reason why he has a hero complex so early, look at what he's around. Look at what he has to throw to. Look at what was protecting him. Justin, I wouldn't be surprised if Justin was trying to play to get his dollars and his value up to get the hell out of Chicago. They didn't really do anything to help put him in a position to be successful. It was.
I wouldn't rule it out because it's depending on what you're giving up to get him. Yeah. So if you can get if you're Chicago pick quite early, if you're not giving up a heck of a lot, maybe a third is probably the most I would go, if I'm honest, because he's got 2 years of his contract already gone, so his value decreases. He's not a particularly great quarterback on paper. Yeah. He hasn't done anything to signify anything more than that. So if you can get him for a third rounder and you're able to hit decently in free agency with other players, then yeah, it's definitely worth kind of exploring that avenue. The only problem is you end up with two quarterbacks on your roster that's contracts are going to run out around about the same time. You're going to have to decide between one of them. And what happens if you spend a third round pick to bring him in, and then Kyle Trask plays better than him anyway? So you've just wasted a third round pick.
That's one of those. You cross that bridge when you get to it.
Oh, absolutely. What you're trying to do as a GM is put your franchise in the best position to win. Of course,
right.
Like, you want to put their players in the best position to win. So,
right.
I completely agree with you. It's just I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate, looking at it from a different perspective. Going, oh, what if?
Yeah, no,
because you just spent money, all you lost is money.
Yeah, I would say, and I'm looking at it from a maturity level. Because the rookie season, yes, Justin was very mature, but he grew this season he grew because now he's trying to get himself, with the game. That's why I think he's not going to be the quarterback in Arizona. How am I forgetting his name? Mr. Call of Duty. Yeah, he's not gonna be that kind of guy. Justin actually wants to learn the game and get better, but that organization has not done him well, and they might be through already, but they might say, let's pull the plug and let's get another quarterback, because I think they're the second pick or third pick, so they can easily get a quarterback and they can start over. They might say, you know what, we've moved on, we don't have anything, and like you said, hey Bucs, can you give us a third, and we'll take it from here.
I mean, if they're looking to get rid of him, they'll shop him anyway. I mean, they'll put out feelers to find out what they can get for him, what people are willing to offer, and then they'll go with the best offer. I mean, that's what you're going to do if you're in that in that neighborhood and you want to explore those avenues. You're going to say, okay, we're going to put him out. The problem is, if you don't trade him, you've just decreased his value in the sense of what he thinks he's worth to you.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to contract time, unless you kiss his ass for the next, and he plays really well, and you kiss his ass, he's going to probably be like, I'm done with you guys because you tried to fucking shot me.
Hey, I feel you. That's something
I know I would. If someone turned around to me and said, Steve, we're going to go and see what I hear through the media, because they're going to find out from the media. No one's going to say, God, hey, Steve, your play hasn't been great, so we're going to look to trade you. So we're moving on from you, because they can't say that. They want to keep this hush. They want to keep this hush. So it would be like talking with GMs, and GMs will let that slip, because guess what? If they can get him cut, they might be able to sign him for nothing. They have to give him nothing up.
I agree,
but they won't, because his contract's too small for them to cut. You know, he's earning like you'd happily pay a backup that kind of money if you're in good cap space.
I agree. I'm just throwing that kind of guy out there because that could.
It's not far-fetched
Yeah.
at all. It's very possible. And then it's like the Lamar Jackson ones. That's more inflated because he's not happy with the contract they're going to offer him in reportedly what Baltimore's offering him. So he ain't coming here.
Hell no. I've already the Lamar thing. I've told people
the Lamar thing's blown away. It's done.
Get that out of your heads. Get it out of your heads. You know, go to sleep and wake up, and then go to sleep again and wake up twice, just so you can understand that shit ain't happening. It's okay, guys. We'll be fine. That's how I feel about it. I just want the OC, whatever OC comes in here, I want that OC to be imaginative and creative and inventive, because with the right OC that can help Jason Light in the draft, we want both of I want the OC and the GM when it comes to drafting offensive guys on the same page. I want them both to be like, okay, this is what we need. This is what we have. This is what we want to go for. Bowles, your job, keep that defense top tier. Bowles, that is your duty. Stick to it. Chill out, relax. You know, that's how you do that. Bowles, defense. That's what you do. Let the OC and Light handle the offense. Now, if Bowles wants to get a edge rusher or defensive interior, now you talk to Light, and that's your input, because he is good at getting defensive players. I think he's really good at that. We have a lot going on. The first order of business is getting the OC, of course, and I love that the Bucs are taking their time. I think a lot of fans don't realize you want to take your time.
Due diligence. It means a fucking lot, because how many teams just go, get the biggest name we can get and hope for the best. Look, Frank Reich, who sucked it up as a Colt, is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. That's a bad move.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. Like, this guy sucked, and it's shown that he can't do anything with what's considered below average quarterbacks, because he had two guys who had good prime years. Well, Carson Wentz didn't really have a prime year. Right? He had a good year, but his first few years in Philly were pretty decent, and then he spiraled out of control, and then that was it.
Yeah,
Matt Ice, was good for a long time, and then he's kind of fallen off the wagon too, but he was not able to get anything out of them. That was a team that was set up for success, and a lot of people saw the Colts being the favorites for that division, and it ended up being the fucking Jags. So
yes, exactly. And I do like what Daniel has said, what I said. Yes, anybody that left Byron is to be trusted. Yes, I agree. Shit, Byron is not that kind of guy. When people say, well, look, they didn't see anything, that's why he didn't start. Every coach doesn't see the way that other coaches see. Look, there's an old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Sometimes it takes another man to see the treasure that which you have already. So yeah, I agree. Byron, I can't take him serious. I said that shit all year. Slick knows I've been a part of the get rid of Byron campaign. I didn't like Byron.
Yeah, I call it the Byron out the Byron out campaign.
Yes, the Byron out
fan club.
Get the hell out of here. And now that he's out, the simple fact that he hasn't been picked up just yet, that's a sign already. That's a sign. Now, I'm not saying I hope that on him, but that should let people know that no matter what the media says, you always got to understand that the football world in the NFL is different from the media world. They know shit. Just like the way Slick said it, GMs will tell other people stuff. They're going to let shit slip so the player can hear it. Or if he gets cut, hey, I heard they did you wrong. We got you. It's the same shit when
look. What a prime example of this is the Derek Carr thing, right? We just heard that Derek Carr's going to get released, and then everyone's going to have a bit of a free agency. If he gets released, anyone can sign him right now. That's one of the things. There's going to be a bit of a frenzy for him because he's one. And the good thing about this is for him is that right now he's technically the only quarterback on the market because no one else can sign anybody else because they haven't been released. They're all still under contract. Yep. So they have to wait. The ones that are contract about to die have to wait till March. So he gets to have the entire pick of the NFL go, we want your business or we don't want your business. And then he's like, okay, what are you offering? And then he can go, right, this team's really good. The offer's really good. I'm going here. It's almost like the win-win scenario. I don't know how he got away with doing it. I guess they just turned around and went, maybe he had conversations with me. So look, I'm fucking done with you guys. I will make sure you pay every single penny. So you may as well release me. I'm not, or he has a no trade clause. And I've told this to people I've said this many a times. When you have a no trade clause, you can turn around and exercise that right anytime. So they can turn around and go, oh, Kansas City really wants you. Well, I'm just spitballing names, not being realistic here at all. This team wants you. That team wants you. He can just go, no. And they'll be like, but. And he's like, no. I'm the fucking Mac Daddy. You're going to have to release me.
Facts.
And then I can pick who I want to go to because the entire NFL is at my disposal.
That's right.
Not who wants to trade for me. Because there might be teams who want me but are unwilling to give up anything to get me because they don't want to give up a first round pick or a second round pick or whatever the going rate would be for. Because at the end of the day, it becomes a pick bidding war, right? That's what it's going to be. If he does say, I'll entertain one of the offers. He just turns around and says, it doesn't matter who you get. You could get this team, that team, that team, that team, that team. Doesn't matter. You could get Kansas City Chiefs, turn around and go, we've done with Patrick Mahomes. You can come here. And he's still going, no, I won't go there because I'm going to make you eat that contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's angry. That boy is angry.
Yeah, he is.
And he'll get his because he gets to be, they're going to release him and whatever guaranteed money's in his contract for how many years is left on his contract, they still have to pay him, which means technically, if he really wanted to, he could take smaller salaries because he's still getting paid by another team.
Yeah. When you were off, that's what I told somebody. I said, if Carr were to come here, I would want him in a Super Bowl mindset where, hey, or just to be competitive. Hey, guys.
Oh, win the division because that's still, I won't say easily because it's football. Football's not easy, but it's an achievable goal.
It's attainable.
And from there you can build because you go, okay, we're working to win the division. So you win the division. As you're winning the division, there's separation between you, the Saints, or whoever's in the other teams. You're separating yourself away and going, okay, let's go and see if we can get this second seed. Oh, well, now let's see if we can get the third seed. And then all of a sudden, you become a Super Bowl favorite. That's how it works. You build the momentum up. The Buccaneers were a Super Bowl favorite at the beginning of the year because of the way they dealt with the Dallas Cowboys and then the way that they dealt with their nemesis in the New Orleans Saints. And then it just spiraled out of control.
I agree. Well, before I let you go, I just want to ask you a few questions. If this was a perfect world and let's say the Bucs were 25 million over the cap or 30 million over the cap, not under, over, what quarterback in the AFC would you want to come to Tampa that if we were able to get him and he would have come to Tampa, the Bucs would damn near be a dynasty?
What, as in I can pick any quarterback from the AFC, or
Yeah, any
no,
quarterback.
give me Mahomes, mate. That guy's just too ridiculously talented. But to make it more realistic, I'll go with like the current free agents or people you could trade for. And I think Derek Carr is probably the best bet at this. I think people could say Aaron Rodgers is a very talented quarterback, but his ego is the thing I don't like. And I don't like the fact that this guy could retire any moment and he keeps talking about retirement. I don't want to pay him a bag and then him go, I'm done.
Yeah.
And you've wasted resources and time. I want someone who's committed to football. This guy, I'm not 100% sure is committed to football. Derek Carr is committed to football. I believe he wants to win. And I think he will win in the future. He's never been a bad quarterback. He's never been great. Put him in a team where he has the opportunity to do that. I think he might I believe he can rise to the occasion. If anything, you have got a good chance to win the division, because if they sign Derek Carr, no one else can sign him.
Mm-hmm.
That means you've got a good chance, because let's look at the other teams in the South quarterbacks. Joe Nobody is in every fucking team.
Exactly. That's
so just by signing him, you're taking a power player off the table,
and the rest of them will fester in their own feces, especially the taints.
Especially them Taints. And I think that's how I would look at it. But yeah, if someone said you had to start up a franchise and you can pick any quarterback in the AFC, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes, because that guy he has it. And I think his mental game has come a long way. And secondly, this year was a big year for him in the sense of he didn't have that reliable target in
Tyreek
Hill. And it forced him to be a better quarterback by going through his reads, because he could probably, realistically, he just went, fuck it.
Yes, he did.
You know what I mean? He's got the cannon to do it. Would I want him here as a personality? Probably not, because I don't like his brother. His brother irritates the shit out of me.
Yes,
I've grown to like his wife because I've learned a lot more about her. At first, I thought she was a bitch. Maybe she just seemed like one, and then I learned a lot more. She's quite an active woman. She owns a sports franchise, soccer franchise, and what have you. So she's she has her own money. She's worth a fair bit of money on her own, not with Patrick's money. So I give her a kudos for that. So I have a little bit more respect for her, But his brother just seems like a grade A idiot. I mean, that's riding coattails. But I'm dog shit, but my brother's great. I'm just gonna sit here and ride this shit.
Hell yeah! Mahomes,
he's the shit. I'm dog shit.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I'll just say this, Lamar. Enough said. I know what I would do, and if we had the right OC to tell him you don't even have to run like that anymore with this line,
I do like him. I just think you got more production value out of Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's a good argument for the guys that could be available. So.
It's either Mahomes, Burrow, or Lamar. Those three. Either those. Lamar, I feel like Burrow's swag would just fucking his charisma and the way that he loves his players. Him and fucking Mike Evans together, and Godwin, and then he just.
I got love for Burrow. He is an absolute
Burrow dude. And with the line we have, can you imagine him sitting there in the pocket, just boom, and just boom,
we know he's got the fucking cojones to take a lick.
Exactly. He will take a hit, but I will catch.
But he'll still make that throw.
He'll still make that throw. So yes, in a perfect world, the Mahomes can be a diva, but he isn't a good diva. He can play, and I feel you on that. But I
don't think you go wrong with any of those two. And then I think the outside argument is
right.
Lamar for sure.
If this world was perfect, but yes, I'll let you go on that. But on that note, I appreciate your time, guys. Thank you again. Please, if you want to just see my stuff, YouTube, it's about Bucking Time. You can find me in any platform, AJ Turnup. Also, ajturnup.myspreadshop.com. You get this fine merchandise right here. I'll be sending Slick something. So Slick, all you gotta do is just let me know which one you like, because I got plenty of stuff, and then I got good stuff.
Oh, he's got the muscle shit. That's what I call a workout shit.
Muscle shirt. That's right. So yes, always. I'll see you guys sometime this week. But Slick, always.
Ballers don't wear sleeves. Ballers don't wear sleeves. That's what I always say.
Exactly. Well, you guys again, Slick. You take care of yourself. Have a hell of a day. And for everybody else out there, you already know. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. I'll see you soon, AJ. Catch you in a bit.
See you soon, my man.
See you soon, man. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the show. So I'll just let you know what I'm kind of doing at the moment. So shows have kind of been put on hiatus for me for the upcoming while. So Book Wild, Teresa is still ill. I haven't heard from her in a while, so I need to catch up with her. We do have a plan to bring that back at some point. And my own stuff, I'm just continuing doing social media. Coach Slick 14 on TikTok, and I think the same. Pretty much Stevie Slick 14 on Instagram. I also do, if I'm doing Instagram, I usually do Bucs Report Instagram as well. So everything that gets shared on there goes onto the Bucs Report one. But on my personal one, I have all my Steelers updates. So any one of you, if you want to check what's going on with the Steelers, I've been doing a lot of content. And I mean the Steelers as in the Sandwell Steelers, which is the team that I coach, not the other Steelers that we shall not talk about. That's a rival team to us. So yeah. Currently, our season's going pretty smoothly. We've got some things that we got to get sorted. Been spending a lot of time looking at film, which is why I've not been able to do so much content. This is pretty much the only exclusive show that I'm doing at the moment. And yeah, so we'll be streaming our games soon. As soon as I have that, I'll be sending out links. And if you guys want to pump up and watch, I'd be much appreciated. Looking forward to the season, and defense is dominating right now. Past defense has been shit hot, as I would like to say, and hopefully we can keep that going into our run defense and our scrimmages. Our first scrimmage went down pretty well. Technically, we only gave up 3 points in it, and the run was probably the biggest weakness. So we got stuff to fix, but we'll fix it. It was our first time as going up against the run, so we know what we're looking for, and we'll get that fixed. And as always, guys, now the Bucs are gone. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. And always, Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs.